Hey guys, have you ever just been kind of obsessed with a game and you don't really know why? That's kind of what happened to me when I started playing this Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts game. Now, I've never played any of these sniper games before. I know there's the Sniper Elite series and then the Sniper Ghost Warrior games. And I always kind of thought they were just made by the same company, but no, they're actually made by two different companies. And before I really get into this game, I want to thank my buddy Toro for kind of challenging me to play this. He was playing it at the same time and he's like, oh man, you got to try this, it's really good. So I got this at like a pawn shop sometime back, but I'd never played it, so I thought I'd pop it in. And man, I just was hooked instantly. Now, these sniper games really are kind of like a different kind of FPS for me. You know, I've never really gotten a whole lot into the Battlefields and the Call of Duties. You know, I've never been very good at them for one, but also they just never really grabbed me. You know, you're going in with a, you know, like a heavy gun most of the time, and you're running into combat and there's like all these things flying around on the screen, and honestly I just can't really keep up with everything that's going on, especially on the multiplayer with those games. Man, there's nuts. So I don't really get obsessed with FPS games very much. I think the last one that I really fell in love with was Red Faction. That was a while back. You know, I've liked a few others too, but they're not really like my main game today, I would guess. But this Ghost Warrior Contracts game, man, something about it. Now, before I start gushing about it too much, let me just tell you a little bit about it. Basically, it's a very simple game. There's not a whole lot of story. You're basically a contract assassin, and you're hired by some, you know, dark power somewhere. You don't really know who he is when you're playing, but you know, as you go through the game, you take on contract after contract to go into some, you know, remote places in Siberia and take people out, basically. And you've got this guy in your ear, he's like your handler, I guess, and he's always telling you, you know, oh, it's almost like he's watching you from a satellite or something, and he's, you know, giving you advice on what to do and talking with you and kind of going through the game with you.
Greetings, Seeker. Your next contract is Dr. Antonasia Alikhanova. An expert genetic engineer, she runs a research laboratory inside the Arakcheya fortress on Shelikov Island.
So as you're going through the game, you're kind of sneaking into different locations, and that's the thing I think I liked about this game, is you just have to be very slow and, you know, clever about what you're doing. If you just start rushing into like a base full of bad guys, you're gonna get killed very quickly. So I kind of found myself just kind of sneaking around the perimeter of these, you know, bases at first, and just targeting everything that I was gonna shoot. And you really have to kind of plan too. You have to plan like, okay, I'm gonna take out this guy first, and then I'm gonna take out this guy over here because he might see something if I do it over here. You know, you have to be very smart about it, because all these AI characters, they're watching out for you. And if they see you, they'll alert the whole base, basically, and then you'll have just a swarm of guys coming down on you, which sometimes you can handle, but if you play like the harder difficulties of the game, you'll be dead like instantly. So you gotta be very, very ninja-like and stealthy to get away. And I think that's what really grabbed me about the game, actually. It's like it's like kind of a slow burn action. You know, you're kind of like slowly going in, and then, you know, once you actually get into the base, then it's like, whoa, okay, I got to be like super careful now, because there's always guys hidden around that you don't see too. So you're always on the edge of your seat. And I found myself, like, my heart just racing as I'm kind of sneaking into these forts and stuff, trying to, you know, kill the main target. So it was very interesting in that respect, I think. And that's why I got kind of addicted to it. Is each level, you have like a different target that you're supposed to kind of get to slowly throughout the level and then take out. And then you also have to get away too. You can't just like kill the guy and it's like, oh, okay, you win. You know, you have to kill the guy and then you have to get out of the place too without being killed. It was very realistic in that respect. And the environments you're in too are just really beautiful. You know, in this game here, you spend about half the time in snow levels, but they also have a bunch of like forest levels to kind of break it up. So it's like half and half. And they did a really good job with the graphics and the environments. It's beautiful environments. It's actually a very attractive game to look at, even though it's, I wouldn't call it a budget title. I guess it's more like a AA title. So after I was finished with this game, I was kind of like still craving more sniper action. So I already had some sniper titles that I'd never tried before. So the first one I did, I went back to this game, Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. And this was the game that the CI Games made before Contracts. And I guess I didn't know really much about this game going into it. I started going through the tutorial and I'm like, okay, this seems okay. You know, I got same good graphics and everything. But then once I got into like the main game, this game is much different. It's all in like an open world rather than just going from like level to level. And they, I think, really were very overambitious when they were making this game. I think they just didn't really know what they were doing. I started playing, I immediately noticed like, wow, this game is really janky. You know, you're kind of dropped into this town and there's like town people all around you. I'm like, oh, okay. And they give you a car to drive too, which is, the car driving is really not very good either. So I get in the car, I start driving it around. I like run over some townspeople. I'm like, oh crap, I'm gonna, you know, get like game over or something. No, nothing happens. I, you know, run the people over, the people right next to them, they don't even notice, they just keep walking. I'm like, oh, okay. So I keep going and I'm like, oh, I might as well just start killing some town people. So I'm just running them over. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing in the game. I just start killing all the townspeople until I'm out of ammo. And then I start to like go to the next mission. And I'm realizing like, wow, this game is really not planned out well. The missions, I could barely even figure out how to start one because the menus were so messed up. I don't want to get into it too much, but this game was not good. And I mean, the sniping part of it is decent, I guess, but it really, even the sniper mechanics didn't compare to the Contracts game. And I was reading up on it a little bit. I guess the development team that made this, they're in Poland. And after they made the Sniper 3 game, they were like, okay, we kind of screwed up on this. Let's cut a bunch of staff. And they just kind of went back to basics with this, I think. And they, you know, they got their core development staff, and it was only like 40 people that made this game. It's a very, very small group of guys. But I think, you know, this game is still buggy, but it's not like immersion breaking buggy most of the time. It's just kind of like, you know, sometimes you'll start tracking people and the tracking symbol like won't come up, you know, stuff like that. And there's like some sound bugs and stuff, but it's really nothing that's like crashing, you know, I think I came one time where I got stuck somewhere in the level, you know, I kind of fell between some barrels or something, and then I had to restart it. But overall, this game was a lot more polished than Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. So I didn't get much into this one at all. I'm like, I don't want to deal with it. So the second game is very, very similar to the first. Instead of being in Siberia with the snow and the mountains, everything, in this game you spend more time in like the Middle East, and you kind of switch between desert locales to, actually they got some forest locations in this one too. But besides the environments being different, they've also kind of polished up the game a little bit. I noticed a lot fewer kind of sound and graphical bugs, and they kind of just streamlined the sniper mechanics a tiny bit. It actually feels a little better to shoot in this game. I can't really point my finger on it, but they kind of polished something up to make it more fun, I think. And I got exactly what I wanted with this game. It's basically just more of the first game, but, you know, more of it, obviously. And I already finished this one too. I think I finished both these games quicker than I've ever finished like 2 games before. I was playing them a lot. And man, I got to the point where I was going to sleep at night, and I was like still playing the game in my head, like trying to figure out how to get into these bases and kill everyone. I got obsessed with these games, honestly. But they're just a blast for me to play, I gotta say. And I definitely recommend them. I would say the first one is probably the one you want to start on. Second one, get it if you like the first. The first one's like dirt cheap. You can get it for under $10 very easily. This game's a little newer. I think this game just came out within the past year, so it might be a little harder for you guys to find. But it's not bad either. I think I found this game on eBay. Luckily, I just kind of happened to search one day and I got it brand new for 15 bucks. Some guy was selling it because it had like, you know, half the plastic torn off of it. I'm like, I don't care, I'll take it. So I got it for 50 bucks, which I think is very reasonable. I mean, this isn't like a AAA game, so I would never pay, you know, like $70 for it, obviously. But for the price, I think it's very fair, and really, really should try it out if you like sniper games. And that's it for today. Talk to you later.
I have eyes on Sanchez.
I prioritize her before Tahir. She will execute him if she receives the order, or if she thinks he's escaping.
Understood. One shot, one kill it is.
Send when ready.
Control, hold. She's going inside.
Then persuade her she needs to be outside.
Let me work on something. Raven out.
But Tahir is still in danger.
Understood. I'll deal with the first guard.